So, a slight delay in the proceedings. We found a little bit of mold underneath the shower pan. So before we've done anything with that, we've bleached it, we've peroxided it, and we have used that stuff on it. So we've got to air it out and let it dry. Some of it's going to be cut out, but just wanted to make certain that it was all done before we started messing with it and cutting it and letting sawdust fly all over. And before we put the tub down, this whole thing's going to get a coat of water seal. I did get the drywall off. Still the original drywall there. How's that for beautiful? But I got the drywall off the wet wall, and you can see my creative plumbing solution for the shower stall that I had installed. We offset the control closer to the outside, and by we I mean I was told to do it that way. And again, converting from the polybutylene to the copper with shark bite fittings, this time shut-offs, because I knew we were going to get in here again someday and I didn't want to shut off the water to the whole house. So a little bit of structure that I had to tear out. This is not a supporting wall. It's barely a partition wall. And you can see the original construction. That was in the top of a stud. I don't know what kind of angle I can get on there. So, somebody's first day with their staple gun and was having too much fun with it. And you can see the original construction. It's not even cut to the right angle or anything. It's just there. All it's doing is holding up a little bit of drywall. So part of it is going to have to plumb this over, and everything's got to be centered about on this pipe here when I get done with it. Pretty close to that area anyways. So I've got room to work for everything. And we did go out and buy the tap and the fancy shower head and the drain kit for the tub. So I don't know what else I'll need, but that's what I got to work with. Mobile home living. Okay, I don't know how handy this is going to be, but I can't remember where I got it. It's not me originally, so I've got a piece of ABS pipe I've got to cut. Plumbers have nice, cool little cutters that'll do everything square. I've got a hacksaw. So for the home gamer, how do you get a nice square cut? And it's as simple as a piece of paper. Well, if we put a piece of paper here and mark it, or bring it to our mark, and wrap it around, and keep you in frame here, and get the two edges lined up. Slide it up to where we want it, right there. And then I use a silver Sharpie. Well, if I get it on both the paper and the pipe at the same time, it's no big deal, because when I take the paper off, I've got a fairly square line there to follow. So I just take my hacksaw, I find it easier, or more accurate, not easier, to just work the curve all the way around. sandpaper on that. It's a pretty square cut. I'm not sure if this is the way it's done professionally or not, but once I got everything dry fitted, I mark everything with witness marks, so when I take it apart to glue it up, it all goes back together in the same orientation. Everything lined up the same way. Okay, old plumbing out, new plumbing in, insulation replaced, insulation taken out of there. I've just got my service T right there. So I have to do the rest from underneath. I've got to attach a P-trap to that and to the underside of the tub. This part of the skirting hasn't been replaced yet. Well, it's in pretty rough shape. This is the hole I had to crawl into. And get the light down here. That's where I had to work, way down there. About 15 feet down there, and I had to crawl in underneath that brace. And that was all kinds of fun lying on my back. I put some old siding down there to lie on. And reaching up through the belly material and working with all the insulation falling down on my face. That was more fun than any one man deserves. And I got the replacement section of floor in. And the part I cut out was pretty much all the moldy part. And I got my little slot there to accommodate the overflow and drain for the tub. So now before I put the tub in, I'm going to coat it with a water sealant. Oh, this is the stuff I'm using. And I'm basically just going to liberally apply it. This might be overkill, but seeing as we already had mold, seems like a good idea. A good coat of it on right up to the washing machine and right up to that seam there, which is more than I need, but eventually the whole floor is going to get it before we put the new flooring down. So that gives me a day off. 24 hours for that to dry. I gotta get the lumber for that partition wall that comes in beside here. And I gotta do a few other things too, but one thing at a time, slowly but surely. The tub is finally in place. I did the drain yesterday, and I bet you I've had this tub in and out about a dozen times measuring things. I've got to do the feed lines yet today. But the drain was all kinds of fun to put in. I got to build a partition wall in there yet. And if I move this light, you can just see that I've surrounded the tub in insulation also. Had some leftover insulation, so that'll keep the water warmer longer. Well, we're slowly making progress, getting things put in place. But this shower stall system this wall system is giving me fits. Sorry about the shadows. See if I can get rid of them here. Now, this thing has a pin system on it. Oh, maybe I should explain. I got to put a partition in here. So that's where the partition's going, between the washer and dryer. So anyways, these things have a pin system on it. So there's a pin there, and a pin there, and a pin there. And you can see they all go up in a fairly straight line. Now, if I bring you over here, this is the panel that's got to go in there. You can see there's a hole that goes into the pin. So that hole is right there. And this hole, that hole gets 3/4 covered. And that hole gets half covered. And this one's almost back out where it should be again. Well, I'm no professional bathtub installer or anything like that. Come on, focus. But I have worked in manufacturing. I'm pretty sure if you got a straight line of pins lining up with holes, the hole should be a straight line too. Oh, the other thing I had to do, on this side over here, up at the top, and down at this corner, this actually overlapped that one, so they wouldn't line up in the same plane. So I had to grind away all the flashing cast, all kinds of it here, and all kinds of it up in the other corner. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make the partition for the best fit and finish for the completed thing. Oh, and you can also see, oh maybe you can't see, those holes are full of, like, that's supposed to be a nice molded round hole for a nice molded round pin. Not on your life. Look at the crap in there. Just garbage. But let me get the light flipped over here again. But we're getting there. So to put that partition in, I gotta move the washer and dryer yet. But my knee gave out on me yesterday. So we're at extremely slow pace here. But you know, we're getting there. The plumbing part is done. We've got a mat in there. Oh, there's another thing too, right in here. Can you hear that? It should sound like this. Oh, my light's gonna die on the battery. Okay, a little darker, but we got this. So slowly but surely we're getting there. And it's not too bad. Didn't turn out too bad at all. That one was the same thing, and you can see the seam. I got it fairly good. So I'm going to have to fill that in. What I had to do is remove the tub and get it squared up. To use this wall as the reference, well, I'm dropping stuff. Use this wall as the reference. So this wall, which will be inside the alcove and have no visual reference, will be the one that's out. And you can see there's quite a bit of space back there, but I can move it a bit. And once I get everything all lined up, then I'll screw it to the partition, which will be as level and plumb and visually correct. It may not be right on, but it will be visually correct. And I've come out with the partition just enough to put a piece of trimmer on there, and it will run all the way up the wall, and a nailing strip on there. And I've got the piece of mold and moisture resistant drywall cut for the washer side of it. So we're slowly getting there. Like I said, we're gonna have to slow down and take a break because my knee is just hurting me terribly. I'm having trouble staying on my feet.